What is up, everybody? Colonel Angels. We've got the midweek games completed just in time for the Saturday matchups. The previews for the Saturday games will come up in the morning. These will be up here tonight now that we've completed the games and I've had a little time to get them all written out. So let's take a look at what we've got. All right, so we're going to start with the Wednesday game. There was only one of them. And credit to the North Carolina Courage here. They stepped up big time and came up with a 2-0 victory over the Denver Summit. Not one I was actually expecting. I was kind of figuring this thing was going to end in a draw, but Carolina stepped up. Pleasantly surprised by their effort there. First half, it did appear to be a strong start for Denver. They kept them pretty much even, as I expected, but I figured they would have gotten a lead out of it, and they just could never really get it accomplished. North Carolina ends up getting a penalty kick early in the second half to pull ahead. That was Riley Jackson, and then Ali Schlegel puts it out of reach with an 81st minute goal. There's now 3 listed. That is a mistake. So give me one moment here. That should not be like it is there. Trying to figure out which one of them is a yellow card and the other is not. Yep, I got it. Natalie Jacobs is the yellow card. All right. All right. Well, that was a whole crazy thing there. Apologies on that. That was on me. Okay, so let's get back to what I was doing here. So, yeah, North Carolina's victory pretty much solidifies that they will be in the 7th position, even if they take a bad loss here this weekend to Washington. It also sets up some considerable distance where Denver had been challenging for a spot in the top 8. Now they've got a little bit of a gap as they've played this extra matchup. So, in terms of the expansion team trying to make a playoff run, their odds did probably get significantly worse, dropping a home match to a team who was right on the edge of the playoffs. On the other news, though, they were at least bolstered by Orlando Pride taking a 3-1 loss to Racing Louisville, who is attempting to solidify their position outside of the wooden spoon slot by picking up 3 more points. Orlando, this one, I kind of figured they would struggle, and this is about where it ended up. There was a couple of goals wiped for each team, thanks to VAR. However, what did not change is that Louisville burst out to a 3-0 lead before Orlando got a very, very late goal to at least wipe off the clean sheet. Now, what this does for Racing Louisville is not much, but what it does for Orlando is kind of shatter their positioning going forward, because not only do they have more games played, meaning their teams ahead of them have games in hand, but Orlando is also dealing with the issue that this will pretty much guarantee they can't be even in a tie for top 8 here, because the winner of Angel City Seattle, or even if they draw, that's enough points to take them out of the tie for 8th. So things kind of going from bad to worse for Orlando. This might just be a lost year for them. Does seem like the separation is happening. At this point, it's a matter of time whether Denver strings together enough performances to jump out ahead of Orlando here in the standings as well. Bay and Houston are probably going to be looking at the same thing. And finally, we have our big matchup of the week. We have Gotham FC and San Diego Wave. There was not a lot to go over, and this was not one I got to see. But what I did see is that Jaden Shaw, I did see the goal there. Good effort on her part. And once again, Gotham FC kind of getting by on these 1-0 matchups. And just the strong defense keeping things good for them. San Diego Wave had their slow start. Their first half, they're down, and they just could not get their second half surge to work in their favor. So what this does, however, is put the Seattle Angel City winner potentially in a position where if the matches in hand were all won, they could get ahead of San Diego for fourth. Somehow, this has turned into an ugly situation for the team who had went into the World Cup break atop the league. So I would be a little concerned as a San Diego fan falling, but it is against the harder opponents, which means there should be some easier matchups coming up here down the pipeline. For now, though, this is a pretty short one. Just wanted to cover 3 matches real quick. As I said, there will be a preview going up Saturday morning of all of the weekend's games, and that'll be a thing going forward in terms of lives. I believe I have time for the 7 p.m. one on Saturday. And I'm also looking to try to get the Angel City matchup live as well. Time will tell on that. We shall see. But for the time being, I think I can probably squeeze 2 out of this week. Until that moment comes, enjoy the football you do get to watch. Root for your teams. And go Angels.